I never thought that I would see these again.
And it helped me to get my own candy hit. Reggie.
The Reggie Bar is a real relic of the 1970s, a candy bar tied to one of the greatest baseball players of all time, a candy bar that somehow just got re-released. I got these from my brother Rob, and I told him I had never had them before, but that's not exactly true. When we were kids, my mom took me and one of my other brothers, Tom, to the 7-Eleven and let us both buy a candy, and I got a whatchamacallit, and he got a Reggie Bar. But he didn't eat his Reggie Bar. He said he was going to save it because that night the Dodgers were playing against the Yankees and Reggie Jackson in the World Series. He was going to eat the bar during the World Series. But then I stole it and I ate it and I lied about it. Today we're going to dig into the full story behind this candy bar named after a baseball Hall of Famer. And for the first time in 41 years, I'm going to get to try a Reggie Bar again. Let's get started.
Hi. I'm Reggie, the famous ball player they named this candy bar after.
Sorry, I'm the Reggie they named the bar after.
That's funny. I thought I was the real Reggie.
Reggie, it's everybody's kind of candy bar.
The Reggie Bar was born in 1978 just after Reggie Jackson made history by hitting 3 home runs in a single World Series game, earning him the nickname
Mr. October.
The guy in the Chippendales calendar?
No, that was Dwayne Zackamore. I'm talking about Reggie Jackson.
Curtis Candy Company, the makers of the Baby Ruth and the Butterfinger, created the Reggie Bar to celebrate and cash in on Reggie Jackson's clutch postseason heroics. It's a round, chunky candy bar made of milk chocolate, roasted peanuts, and gooey caramel. It was inspired by another candy bar, which was called the Wayne Bun. And when I say inspired, when you're eating this, you are eating a Wayne Bun. That candy bar got its name from the city of Fort Wayne, Indiana, which was where the Wayne Chocolate Company was located. The Wayne Bun was a popular candy bar which had milk chocolate, roasted peanuts, and gooey caramel, and was very popular in the 1930s and 1940s. But unfortunately, the company closed down in the 1960s, leaving this very delicious and popular candy confection out for the taking. And the Curtis Candy Company took it and renamed it the Reggie Bar. At the Yankees home opener on April 13, 1978, thousands of Reggie Bars were handed out. Fans threw the orange wrappers onto the field after Reggie hit home runs, and it rained candy bar. Even Reggie was surprised by the frenzy.
You stole a page from the Bible today.
How's that?
Well, you know, the Lord brought manna on earth, you hit a home run, and you brought Reggie candy bars now.
Well, that's a free commercial for the candy bar.
The bar sold well, over $11 million in sales in the first year in the New York market alone.
At the time, I think Snickers may have been the number one bar. They were doing like $150 million a year in revenue or something like that. And so I would have stood to be making today, I'd have been making baseball player money.
But the good times didn't last forever. By 1982, Reggie had left the Yankees and was playing for the California Angels, and the candy bar was slowly disappearing from shelves. And that same year, the Curtis Candy Company was purchased by Nabisco, and Nabisco pulled the Reggie Bar off the market completely. Eventually, the rights reverted back to Reggie Jackson, and in 1993, he re-released the candy bar through a small company with a collectible package, but that didn't last for very long. That company went bankrupt as well. Reggie Jackson was one of baseball's all-time greats. He played 21 seasons, hitting 563 home runs, winning 5 World Series titles, and earning 14 All-Star selections. His time with the Yankees, 1977 to 1981, that was the peak years for Reggie and the Reggie Candy Bar. His last World Series in pinstripes was in 1981. And it was a classic New York Yankees, Los Angeles Dodgers matchup. These two teams were rivals ever since the days when the Dodgers played in Brooklyn. Now, Reggie was injured during this World Series with a pulled hamstring, but he still played, and he batted .333. And he had a home run in the World Series.
To deep right center field, home run for Jackson, who loves this ballpark.
And it was Game 1 of that World Series when I stole my brother's Reggie Bar. Reggie's career did not end when he left the Yankees. He played very well in California. He got 39 home runs, which led the league, and he became a legendary baseball player. One of his most memorable moments as an Angel was when he came back to Yankee Stadium, and they tried to boo him out of the building, and he responded with a home run.
And Reggie hits one out. First pitch, upper deck, right field.
And the crowd leapt to their feet and applauded their former hero.
Mr. October, Reggie Jackson.
Off the field, Reggie embraced his fame with a media career popping up in TV and movies. He had the best cameo in The Naked Gun.
I must kill the queen.
He also guest starred on an episode of MacGyver and an episode of Malcolm in the Middle.
This next drill, boys, is for your catch and quick release skills. Hot potato!
In all of these appearances, he essentially played himself, and he was a familiar face to audiences because even if you didn't know baseball, you knew Reggie Jackson. So in 2023, the Reggie Bar finally made a comeback. Now it's being produced by a Canadian couple and a company in Pennsylvania called Psy Chocolates. They say this new version has a richer caramel, a better quality chocolate, and more peanuts than the first time around. They even got Reggie Jackson's input to try to make the best possible 2023 version of the Reggie Candy Bar. And luckily, here we are in 2025, and the candy bar is still going strong. Now, in the old days, you could get this at 7-Eleven, but it's a little harder to find today. It is back on the shelves. You can get it in some stadiums, you can get it in some specialty candy shops, and you can order it online. And even if you're not a Yankees fan and maybe you weren't around for the heyday of Reggie Jackson, it's still a great piece of nostalgia. Now, it's interesting. The bar comes in a bright orange package, but you may not know this, but the Reese's company owns this color. Hershey, the company behind Reese's, officially trademarked this shade of orange back in 2003. But they can only copyright it in terms of candy and candy packaging. But the Reggie Bar has been using the color since 1978, so they are grandfathered in as the only other company allowed to use this for a candy bar. Now, they don't have peanut butter in here. They do have peanuts, and when they looked to relaunch it, they found that if they added peanut butter, they would have to change the color of the wrapper. Side note, this isn't a bar at all. It's a round, misshapen, lumpy disc of chocolate. But I think they felt that if they called it a Reggie Bar, people would understand exactly what it was. And that way, they could better compete with Snickers and Baby Ruth. Speaking of Baby Ruth, I got a crazy story for you. In 1921, the Curtis Candy Company, the same candy company that eventually launched the Reggie Bar, launched a new candy bar that they called the Baby Ruth. And they claimed that it was not named after the current popular baseball legend, Babe Ruth. The candy company said, no, this is just a coincidence. We were actually naming it after Grover Cleveland's daughter, Ruth Folsom Cleveland. Now, Grover Cleveland was interesting. He was president of the United States, and he had a child while he was in office. This was Esther Cleveland. Then he left office, and he had another child, which was Baby Ruth. And the country was enamored with this child. And then he got reelected to a non-consecutive term. And so she was in the White House with him, and she was very popular. But here's the thing. By the time the Baby Ruth candy bar was introduced, she had been dead for 17 years. It was pretty obvious that the Curtis Candy Company just didn't want to pay Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth sued to try to get royalties from the Baby Ruth candy bar, and he lost. So he went ahead and introduced his own candy bar, Ruth's Home Run Bar. But then the Curtis Candy Company sued Babe Ruth, alleging that they were the only ones allowed to use the word Ruth in connection with a candy bar. And they won. The Reggie Bar fits into a classic candy bar family alongside Baby Ruth, Clark Bar, O. Henry, and the Wayne bun it was based on. But what made the Reggie Bar unique was the direct connection to one of baseball's biggest legends. Well, now, it's the moment of truth. I want to see how this tastes in the year 2025. But you know, I've got 2 Reggie Bars and a 40-year-old candy debt to repay. You know, I don't know the last time I shared a candy bar with somebody. I told Tom the story about how I stole his Reggie Bar during the World Series back in 1981, and he laughed. And we both enjoyed the new one. It tasted like nostalgia, sweet, a little salty, and better than I expected. The bar is simple, a thick disc of roasted peanuts, soft golden caramel, smooth milk chocolate, no frills, just a classic satisfying crunch with every bite. While we were enjoying the candy bars, we put on some old Reggie Jackson highlights. It was the best afternoon I've had in a long time. The candy bar is still a classic, but the experience of eating it together, unforgettable. Yup, this all happened for real. I'm glad I had a camera there. Let me give a huge shout out to the top tier members on Patreon. I say their name in every video and I'm so happy to do so. So thankful to these people for supporting me. Aaron Wester, Al, Archer, Bucky and Oliver, Carson Loveridge, Dana Snyder, M, Jason Evans, Jason Yealy, Jarrett Rusky, Jamie and Tom, Jen, Matthew Chapin, Mike and Jess, my big brother Rob, Nick Roche. If you've got your own candy bar stories, especially ones that involve baseball, please let me know in the comments. And go ahead and subscribe for more sweet candy goodness.